Hey guys, FilthyRobot here, back with Arumba and our Great Britain campaign, where we are seeing what happens if we war the entire world at once.
Yeah. They band together, don't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of little bastards.
Bunch of little jerks. We can course Stettin next month. That's exciting.
No? So that's what excited you in between episodes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, all right, you told me you have a bigger question. You actually want to do this. I'm surprised.
Or you want to do the general roll first? I think general roll first.
Okay, we'll do that first, but I just want to say it because it's funny to me. You want to revisit trade.
I do.
You're ready. Your body is prepared.
I don't know if I'm ready, but I need it because
I didn't bring it up this time.
Those sweet ducats.
Yeah, well, we have. I mean, just looking at our income now, you can see now, right? We're making 33 ducats from trade. It's already 50% of our national income is coming from trade. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay. So between episodes, we talked about how we were pretty happy with the generals. We took the tech, which I think was the right call. But now I'm looking at it again, thinking, hey, we have +2 to shock, and we still only have at best a 4 shock general, and we don't want to use him because he's only got 1 fire. So we only have 3 shock generals. I would like to maybe roll another general. We don't have enough points. We could make our ruler or our heir into a general, or we could do the interaction with the nobility. I would lean towards the nobility personally because. So
we're using Benjamin right now, right? The 5-3-3.
Yes, Benjamin Button. And
you don't think the 5 fire on the cannons is super valuable?
Not really, just because, again, looking at the military tab, you can see that we have a 1.0 multiplier on fire and a 0.05 multiplier on shock, and most of the damage of combat right now is still being inflicted in the shock phase. Still. Not only is our back row not full of cannons, we only have 10. We could go more cannons, by the way. We do have the financial means to support probably 20.
Why would we not? I mean, what is the I guess the downside is cash and the downside is supply limit. But it feels like cannons are just free damage every round, right? They don't get attacked, so they're not taking losses, and they're doing damage to the opponent, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not free, though, because just like you ran into with your Korea, your solo campaign, if we hire another 10 cannons, then that means that we're paying for them when this war is over. And
I'm sorry, I mean in terms of losses, manpower, and everything else. The only thing it's costing us is cash, right?
Yes.
And we're like drowning in cash right now.
Yeah, I think we can afford it. It's just that if we make that decision, just be aware that we're not going to be drowning in cash anymore. Like, here's a great way to approximate it. Press the B key, go to your template screen, shift-click on regulars, and just create a temporary template of 10 cannons. And you can see that the maintenance cost is 5 ducats a month for 10 cannons. Okay.
Well, so, I did Merc cannon, so it's even more expensive. So let me go take a quick look at that. All right, 5.08, yeah.
So that's, I mean, just knock that off your income permanently, unless you're at no maintenance, which is rare. So yeah, it's expensive, but we could do it.
Well, it depends. How many more wars we have? And remember, we just brawling everyone?
Probably.
Forever,
yeah.
Then we should absolutely grab more cannons.
Okay, so anyway, we should roll a general. I'm leaning towards the general interaction with the estates, even though they have a lot of influence, because, again, just a brief revisitation of how tradition works. The interaction with the estate's going to give us a 40 tradition general, which gives us 2 guaranteed pips. Our own nation.
We see our tradition right now under the military score?
Yep, military tab. Very top.
And our current army tradition is 37.
So we would only get 1 guaranteed pip.
But we're so close to being able to roll our own 40 tradition.
Yeah.
So it does have decay, fully maintained forts, morale of armies, manpower recovery, current effects, morale of armies plus 9.2%. Oh, that's the effects of having this army tradition. Where does it say how we gain more army tradition?
It says right in there, if you read more. Army tradition is accumulated army experience.
Right at the end, okay.
Increased by ideas, buildings, land combat, and sieging. Each fort you siege, I think, gives you a flat 1.
Flat 1. So we're like 3 away. We could just siege some forts and then roll our own generals. Okay, so I'm okay with the. If you still want to do the interaction, I'm fine with that. Just for getting one right now for this war. But it feels like after this war, that becomes a very low value button.
Yes,
because
it will.
It's a lot of influence, and we're going to have as good generals in just a couple more sieges.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm revoking Lincolnshire from the nobility in order to free up capacity for you to click that button without making them have a disaster.
All right, then let's go click that button. Hold on.
Roll well.
I make no promises about rolling well. Grant generalship. Click. All right, what do we get?
Trash.
How
is this possible?
Do we get Cavendish or Drake?
Cavendish is the new one. 2-3-2-2. I mean, he's better at sieges. He's a good secondary siege general. I'd get rid of Oliver Wolf in this case, but man, he's still trash. Like, that's like 4 generals in a row that have not had very much shock when we have +2 guaranteed shock. It's really shocking. Haha. That keeps on happening. Anyway.
And I laughed too, but I don't know if it was with you. All right.
Man, that's sad. We want to roll another one at 50 monarch points, I think. Actually,
Okay.
can we demand monarch points?
I'm not doing it at 50 monarch points. I will do it when we get to 40 tradition, though.
Do you want to demand some monarch points from him right now? We could demand 150. Make him disloyal.
Nope.
Okay.
No interest in doing that.
All right. Okay, fine. Well, in that case, let us...
You want to talk about trade? Or you want to run a couple turns? Let's get our army back to Holland.
Yeah, it's
and get
already...
a little bit of...
It's shattering. We've got 17. Our combat width is 27. 27 minus the cav puts us at 23. We're actually in such a unique position, we might even want to consider just going pure 27 front row infantry mercs, so that we never have to worry about the manpower or the flanking, because our cav keep getting beaten up, and then they don't fight well.
Okay.
They're pretty strong. They're at 3,300 out of 4,000, but...
Well, train them in Holland, because we're going there now.
So 27 stack minus that, so we need 23,000 troops. We got 5 on the boats, which takes us up.
Well,
from
why are we
13
why are
to
we
18.
being so? Okay, so I understand in general the benefits of merking. It comes you paying more money for them, although we pay less more money than we would because of our ideas. And the advantage is that we have an infinite supply of mercenary manpower, so we don't use our own manpower. But we actually have quite a lot of manpower right now. Are you thinking that we're going to fight so much we're going to go through this manpower? Isn't it just more expensive? Okay, that's your thought process. I just want to make clear on that.
Yep. Also, and this is a very, very important factor. When looking at war enthusiasm, the AI, both your enemies and your allies, will look at your treasury, your manpower, your total number of troops, the composition of your troops, the generals that you have. All that stuff goes into their decision to decide to be enthusiastic or not about the war.
Okay.
So if we, instead of merking right now, if we just bled out 35,000 manpower, all of our allies are going to be like, wow, Scotland looks kind of weak. And that makes me feel weak, and then they're going to want out of the war. Whereas if we spend money, we can force our allies to stay in the war longer. Not to mention, you never know. You know, we want to plan for the worst, generally, but we could get another coalition war, or like things could go really bad. Like we
should just war someone right now, like France. Let's war France at this moment.
Okay, I'm for that. Let's do it.
Yeah. Should we just take some of their land?
Declaring war on them right now while we're at war would be like a -3 stab hit, or even just breaking the alliance while they're at war defending you is -3. But
that would be bad news. Be bad news.
So anyway, okay, go ahead. We've got an army. I'll work on like composing it in a way that makes sense. If you want to start your trade question.
Yes, trade question. All right, so I'm in a position in Korea where I have one node that I have the little icon over, it looks like a dice to me, but it's the main trading port icon.
Yes.
Okay. I have one node that I can influence that's feeding into it, of which 100% of the output of that node is already headed to the node that I'm collecting out of. Okay. So I don't know how much more this is. Let's start in that place. The first question here is there a point to steering trade from a node that's already directing all of it to the node I'm collecting out of?
It's not as good as if you could steer from a node that actually has like multiple outputs, but you do gain some stuff. Number one, you'll always gain a minimum of 2 trade power in that node by having a merchant present, which gets multiplied by your trade efficiency multipliers. If it's an inland node, then you get your caravan power bonus. So if you're steering inland or toward an inland node, press F1, go to the trade tab. Trade tab is 5. In our case, our inland bonus, you can see it's like the second from the bottom list of all things, is 50.
Yeah.
And then our ideas increase it by 25%, so we get 62.5 inland caravan trade power. So click on, in our case, like Champagne.
Yeah.
You see how in the top right corner there's that little valley and like green and blue and crap?
Valley in green and blue. Nope.
Looking at the map. No, don't actually go into the node. You're looking at the button to select it.
Yeah, I see now. Yep.
Having a merchant present. So that is an indicator saying this is an inland node, which means you get that multiplier. So now when you look at now go ahead and select the node.
It says having a merchant that collects in an inland trade node or steers towards an inland trade node.
Yeah, but it's lying.
Oh, so it's another fucking tooltip that is wrong.
Click on the province, click on the node itself.
Okay.
And then if you hover over the first set of like trade power numbers, or actually no, maybe I'm not wrong. No, it says trade power from light ships, 0. Merchant present, +2. Inland caravans provide a total of 62.5 trade power. So even though we're steering toward a coastal province, and even though that tooltip says it's only collecting or steering toward inland, yeah, we get an extra 62.5 trade power from that inland trade bonus.
Steering.
Yep, which then gets multiplied.
Do we get the 50 if we're collecting?
If you were collecting there, yes.
Okay.
So, back to your question. If you apply a merchant to a province or a trade zone that can only steer in one direction, you're getting at least 2 trade power minimum from the merchant, plus potentially the caravan trade power if it's in the right type of node. And then third is that for every merchant you have steering trade, your capital node, your home node, will get a plus 10% trade efficiency multiplier. So you get more trade power.
So every merchant I have steering trade, my home node will get a what?
Click on English channel.
Yeah.
Hover over our total trade power multipliers, and you'll see very clearly transfer from North Sea, transfer from Rhineland. Every merchant you have that's steering trade increases
where am I hovering? Okay, I see the first line that says Great Britain by country, and I'm looking. Which column? There's 8 or 9. What am I hovering over?
Second from the right. It's your trade power multiplier.
Right. Got it.
94.2.
Yep.
Every transferred trade power merchant gives you a 10% bonus to your trade power efficiency in your capital node. Okay. So that's why we have plus 50% bonus trade power because of 5 merchants that are steering trade.
Okay.
So, long story short, yes, there is value in it. It's not great. It'd be better if you could steer elsewhere, because you'd get the same thing, right? You'd still get the merchant power. You'd still get the transfer trade power in your capital. But if you have nowhere else to put them, you might as well put them there.
Okay.
Because it helps.
All right, another question. So I was looking, I got an extra merchant from an idea, and there was no immediate places I wanted to put him. So I was looking further upstream to steer like 2 nodes back towards 1 node back towards the node I was going towards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just like we did in the center of Europe here.
When I put him there, when I assigned him there, you can't assign. I didn't notice a way that I could tell him which way to steer. And when he landed in the node, he was steering it in a direction I didn't want.
Okay.
Why was that?
Because the game, for whatever reason, calculated that was going to somehow give you more money, but the game's not always correct. So go to your trade map mode. Y.
Yep.
Go look at the white area, Austria.
Okay.
You see
maybe. Is that the wine node?
Yeah.
Vine, or whatever the fuck it is, yeah?
Ironically, I think it's pronounced Wien with a V.
Wien?
Yeah, Vienna. You heard the city of Vienna?
Okay.
Anyway.
Spelled with a V.
Yeah, I know. It's words, letters.
It's not Vienna.
So you see the 3 outputs, right?
Uh-huh.
You see how there's like a little up arrow, and then one of them has a check? You click on the check to change which direction you steer.
Oh, neat. Okay. So I could just send it back and actually go where I wanted. I was dicking around with that, couldn't find that. Okay, cool.
Yep, if the game's wrong. Also, if you don't want to use the trade map mode, you could also go F15. And from there, you can see a list of all of the trade nodes that are within range of your nation, looking at your trade tab. In the far rightmost column is possible actions, mission. You can actually click on that, and you can change what they're doing from this interface as well, which I've never used. I just always use the trade map mode. But
okay, good to know.
Some people might like that one instead. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna have to reevaluate. I found it was also surprisingly difficult to like in real time. Like I would like give it a monthly tick. I'd move some merchants around, give it a monthly tick, and look at my income, and then move some merchants around and give it a monthly tick and give it a look at the income again. It was surprisingly difficult to use that as a way to evaluate it because it seemed like there were multiple things changing in the background every time I did that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the fun things about finally figuring out how trade works in this game is that every time you make a change to the trade nodes, that makes the AI reevaluate if they're doing the right thing, which makes them maybe steer money in a different way. And so even though temporarily you see an opportunity to make more money, because you did that, Ming doesn't want to send trade to Beijing anymore, and so he's collecting in Hangzhou.
All right.
Or he's privateering there, or...
I have a related trade question. Okay. So let's knock this out. So is it better to have 0% autonomy, or is it better to have 20? Because there's bonuses to giving your traders, your merchants, access to trade hubs, right?
Yes.
How do I make that comparison between the 20? I mean, is it just like a little bit of math basically to look at the difference between 0% and 25% autonomy versus the 50% modifier to the bonuses in of collecting? I can't remember exactly what those bonuses are right now. I guess I'd mouse over them, maybe it'll tell me. So, all right. So the question was basically, I have a collection port off of a collection place off of one of my trade hubs, right? And I wanted to know if I should give that to the nobility, even though it would raise the autonomy of the province. Okay,
here's we could actually work this through in a province that I think makes sense right now. If you go look at our former capital of Lothian.
Okay.
This is a capital province, used to be, and so it has 0% autonomy. We've had it for a long, long time.
Yep.
It's at 0%, and so you're kind of saying, like, would there ever be a circumstance where giving something to an estate might make sense instead of keeping it at 0% autonomy?
Yeah.
Here's how I would rationalize it. If we give this to an estate that doesn't affect, say, base tax, we're losing 25% of the base tax of this province. So 7 goes down to whatever 75% of 7 would be like 4.9, right? But in this case, this province in particular has a coastal center of trade.
Yeah.
So if we were to give this to the burghers, we wouldn't lose the penalty. We would get no penalties whatsoever to our ships, which we care about a lot. We would get no penalty to our provincial trade. We would get a penalty to our manpower and to our taxes. So the question is it worth trading 2 base tax for making the burghers more loyal, making the burghers have more influence, and then more importantly, there is one other effect. With Lothian, the burghers will have the following effects in your country.
Wait, where are you seeing that with Lothian? You're having it from the macro estate screen?
I'm looking at Lothian as a province, and I've got the buildings breakout thing opened up, and at the bottom I'm looking at the estates information. Click on Lothian, click on the buildings tab on the right.
Okay.
You can see that there's no assigned estate. Click on that little button, and then if you're hovering over the burghers, you can see the effects if you give it to the burghers. I haven't clicked it yet.
Yeah.
It will have the following effects on the province. Minimum province autonomy will go up to 25. Removes autonomy modifier for production, trade power, naval force limit, sailors, and then this is the one that I care about. Local trade power plus 50%.
Yeah.
So we could trade 2 base tax to get a permanent plus 50% local trade power multiplier additively with the other trade power modifiers in this province. Because there's an estuary here, at a very minimum, we're looking at 50% of the bonus trade power that the Coastal Center of Trade gives us, which is 10. So we could just click that button and get 5 extra trade power in this node. And if we go all the way back, like 60 episodes ago, when I first started confusing you with trade, only provincial trade power can propagate trade upstream.
Oh, Jesus. All right, we're lost again. Okay,
Boats
don't explain that.
cannot.
I don't want any part of that.
Long story short, getting more provincial trade power would be really good. So this is a circumstance where even though we're going to lose actual effective tax revenue, I would definitely give this to the burghers because it's got an estuary.
Give me a rule of thumb. Is it generally a good idea, generally not a good idea, or generally something you have to work out via the maths on this because it's going to be so variable?
Okay, I can give you some generalizations. For me, always give every estuary to the burghers. Always.
Got it. That's all I wanted to hear.
If it's got a provincial, any kind of provincial modifier that gives you trade power, always give it to the burghers. Second, if it's got any kind of provincial modifier, always build a marketplace and any upgraded versions of the marketplace. If it doesn't have a provincial trade power modifier, build no marketplaces under any circumstance. It's not worth the money.
Okay.
And that's generally
I actually did build a marketplace there, and I was on the border of giving it to my my merchants, but I wasn't quite sure yet. So that's helpful. Good. Okay, that actually, believe it or not, gets through my question list.
Oh my gosh. I guess we have to stop recording today, and then you can write down more.
That's right.
Can't control the army quick enough, the navy quick enough. Trying to get back to protecting trade.
Yeah, let's go take a look at what's going on.
Okay, so we're just waiting for some mercs to come up. We got 20. They're recruiting kind of slow in Holland. Unfortunately, we just conquered Holland and it has high unrest. So you'll notice that the training time, even for mercs,
goes up.
is 24 days.
Yep.
So that's one of the other reasons why we didn't train a bunch in Holland, is that, you know, like some of these things, like you asked me, well, why didn't we train in Holland? And I'm like, well, I don't really have a good answer. I just know it's wrong. You know, like mentally I didn't do it, but I couldn't answer clearly why it was that way. I just sort of remembered or knew that it was going to be slow.
You're claiming experience. Okay, I can buy that.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got 22 plus 4. We need at least one more to finish, and then we will have full combat width, although we are only at 20,000 out of 22,000. So we need 2,000 more infantry to recover.
Okay. We're getting there.
Anyway. Yeah, we're going to have to go fight some armies. I would really like to knock one of these coalitions out. Like, if we could get a white peace. The problem with white peace is that it's going to give us a 5-year truce, and these guys are just going to join the coalition again. We don't want to sync them up. Yeah, we don't want to sync them up, but like, Cologne is at 127 aggressive expansion. They're not going to stop being pissed anytime soon.
Okay.
In 10 years, they'll have lost 28, putting them at 100.
Yeah, all right.
So they're 30.
50 is the danger point. So.
They're 30 years away from being unable to join the coalition.
All right.
I think we should either go smash armies. Yeah, we got to go fight the Papal State. He's got no leader in Paris. We've got to go do that.
Okay.
Top priority. Hey, we have an event, Cruelty of Mercenaries. We decided, by the way, not to reload just because Filthy's lazy. He
This has
doesn't.
nothing to do with that. It's waste time for reload. We can do it next session. It'll be all right.
We should prevent this from happening in the future. We have two choices. We can either take mercenary maintenance plus 30 and available mercenaries goes down, or we can say lose 10 prestige and gain unrest in a province. I don't want to lose prestige because I want the morale, and I don't want to lose the aggressive expansion decay. We're just going to have to pay more money for mercs. It sucks, but whatever.
It does suck. I would never have taken that. That's interesting. Okay.
I care way more about prestige.
We lost an advisor. Okay, I thought it was one of our generals. Let's go take a look at the advisor.
Ooh, nice. I like the discipline advisor. He calls to me. Or defense, not so much.
Are we okay with... We can't get a military advisor from the special interest, so I don't want to pay for... Got it. Okay, I'm fine with that. Discipline?
Yep. Discipline's really good.
Okay.
Especially because we're going to go fight the Papal State, and they have no leader, and they can't appoint a leader because they're not in friendly territory. Okay. And let's just hope that he doesn't try to retreat as soon as he sees our army, and that if he's going to retreat, he'll retreat when we get to Artois. Okay. That's a lot of dudes nearby, though.
Yep, you're going to have to man mode this.
Just win the fight. Yeah.
That's right. Win it and just stack right. It's totally possible, right? Do we get defensive ban? So where we're leaving a siege on Paris? Paris is just flat terrain. But would we get would we get crossing bonus from relieving this?
This is where I still don't really know. If he crossed a river, I've seen it before where we get the river crossing. Like
yeah,
he
so
takes a
in
penalty.
my campaign, I noticed that I got a random river crossing.
But how or when that happens, I don't know. See,
they're going to arrive on the 4th of November, so we've got a couple days. We could do. We said it's 3 days per
phase.
Okay, so we have 2 phases of no reinforcements from them.
Yeah, November the 4th. That gives us
stack wipe them.
If we could stack wipe this guy, that'd be ideal because then we would get our 50% morale bump, and we'd still be the defender behind a river, and that would actually
9. So that's pretty. 9 to a 4 is pretty good to start with.
Yeah, they have at best 2 maneuver to our 3. So yeah, if we can beat the Papal State, we could have them take a river crossing, and we get our morale reinforcement.
Okay, so the second roll.
Oh, 5.
5 to an 8. No good.
We're still killing a ton. We're still doing. It's a good roll, but and there it is. Bam! Stack wipe.
All right. Cool. The other guy's locked in. Awesome.
Yeah, and now we have time. No, never mind. We don't because damn it, they're gonna be here tomorrow, and armies are always locked for 1 day as soon as they finish combat. Notice how we can't actually tell it to go anywhere or interact with the army.
Yeah.
I want to shift consolidate to strengthen the center, but we can't.
Okay.
That sucks.
What's his commander? Well, there's like 5 leaders there, so I have to see which one is better. So they're going to see a 3-1-2 leader, it looks like. What did you just queue up?
5 more merc infantry to reinforce across the strait.
And an increased price? How long is that price modifier enabled?
It's just maintenance. It didn't increase the cost of the hiring.
Well, but maintenance is what we pay most of with mercs because we keep them around longer, right?
Yeah, but we're still making 15 ducats. What are you worried about?
I'm worried about our income, of course.
Hey, you're the one that wanted to hire 10 more cannons.
You're an aggressive spender. I have to keep you in check.
You wanted to hire
the voice of reason.
10 more cannons, and then we never did that. By the way, we should.
I know because we bought all these. Anyways, okay. Next episode we can argue about cannons.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. See you guys soon.
See you in a bit.